You know, school, then college, then work? Fuck that. And fuck the Air Force Academy. If I want to fly, I'll find a way to fly. You know, you do what you love, and fuck the rest.
Right, it is freezing outside. So I've been away for a long time, innit? I don't know, it's been way too long, and I'm gonna try and explain that, and it might go a little bit emotional, and I might get kind of angry and upset, but I'm gonna do this video anyway because I think it needs to be done for me to move on to my next step. So I'm gonna try and break this down into, I don't want to go higher than 10 minutes because I know no one's going to watch me blabbering for more than 10 minutes. Try and keep it under that if possible. My room is getting like moved around right now. I'm going to try and turn this into an office where I can make more YouTube videos and make it look a little bit nicer. Until then, it's a little bit messy. I do apologize. I'll try and work it out. Next time it's going to look better. So the way I'm going to start this video is talking about why I've been away. And the reason for that is that I've been sick. But in a different way to normal. I mean, I have spoken about this in the past about why I started YouTube, and that was because of at the time I think I said I was feeling down. That was the only way I could express it because I didn't know what I was going through, but I was definitely depressed and I needed something to vent. I needed my creativity to be put into a good place, and I felt that YouTube was a good thing because I could talk to a camera. It was some sort of therapy. I could do something I loved, and that was talking about music. So I did it. After I did that, I moved on to vlogs and talking about emotional stuff, and people seemed to dig that as well. But I was hiding something really deep inside me that was growing into this huge mass that was going to take over my life, and that was depression and anxiety. Like I said before, I have done a video on this before where I talk about my depression, but I haven't gone much into detail, and this is more to explain why I've been away. About a few weeks ago, I went through a lot of stress, and I'm not pinning this on anyone, by the way. I'm not pinning this on my work. I'm not pinning this on anything because it's not fair. I've been going through this intense amount of stress, and it started to build and build inside of me. I didn't know where to put it. I didn't know how to filter it. I didn't know what to do. And I couldn't do these videos because I was literally like, I felt like, I don't know, I was wearing a jacket that weighed twice my body weight. That's what it feels like. You feel like this huge pressure and everyone's looking at you. And I never experienced that before. I never experienced anxiety as much as I experienced it a couple of weeks ago. It's weird. It just kind of like, my depression got to a point where it was started to manifest itself in a physical way on my body. I've never gone to the doctors and spoken about why I feel depressed or how I can make that a better thing because I was just too scared. You know what I mean? Like going and talking to a therapist is a scary thing, and to put yourself into that place and to take that jump is massive, and I didn't know if I was ready to do that, but now I am 100%. So yeah, I was going through a lot of stress. I don't want to talk about why because that's a bit too personal, but it was pretty intense. So what happens is I was laying in bed and I was laying completely flat with my arms beside me, and my wife and I were watching something on the laptop or something on the projector. I remember feeling like I couldn't talk and I couldn't move. I felt this huge amount of pressure, like my arms had weights on them, and I felt like they were being pushed down. I felt like I couldn't move my head. I was like trapped inside my own thoughts, and I was freaking out. I was like, go on, you can just move, just do it. And I have experienced this before where I've looked online, it's called what's it called? I wanna say it's called the Alice in Wonderland effect, but I'm not sure if it is called that. It's where you feel really tiny and like everything is massive around you. And it's considered to be some sort of migraine. And I normally got it when I was going to bed, where everything feels super heavy, like your arms, and you feel like when you close your eyes, everything just like goes away from you. This is the best way I can explain it. So I thought it was that, like I didn't really think too much about it, but then I couldn't move and like I was really panicking. I thought, okay, I better get up and go to the bathroom because I felt really sick. I don't really remember much. So I'm gonna go from what my wife told me. So at this point, I can't really remember it. At this point, I've got up and walked out of the bed, and I've gone a few steps into the front room, and I've grabbed for a chair and I've just fallen straight on my face and blacked out. Like I said, my wife told me all this because I can't remember, but she tried to wake me up and turn me on my side. When I woke up, I started to like spasm or I had some sort of fit. At this point, I was kind of conscious, but I was just not really there 100%. I was kind of freaking out. I didn't know what was going on. It's like someone was just spinning these things in my head. Like everything was going super fast and like rushing back to me. Then all of a sudden my chest felt super tight and my arms from the top all the way down to my wrist was really painful, and I felt some like tingling in my fingers and in my lips. I thought it was going to go away because I have had like the tingling in lips and hands before, and I have sort of like felt really dizzy and had to sit down. It got worse. Like my chest got really heavy and my arms were super painful and I couldn't breathe. My heartbeat was like jumping. It was really weird. It wasn't like beating like this. It was like beating like, I don't know, it was like heart palpitations almost. So I just started freaking out like more and more and more. I didn't know what was going on and I started crying. I was freaking out basically. Then my wife decided she was gonna call an ambulance. The ambulance turned up super quick and 3 mateys came in. One like took my pulse and asked me loads of questions, asked me if I take any medication or anything like that. And they put some heart monitors on me and did an ECG, which is like to see your heart rate and see how it looks on a monitor. I don't really know like the technical ins and outs of that machine, but what they did say afterwards that I had a regular heartbeat and they need to take me to the hospital. They gave me some morphine. I think they gave me like 2 doses of morphine and some other medication and put me on a drip. Stuck needles all like in my hands here and in here. As we were driving away in the ambulance, I felt like all my emotion that I was holding inside me for all of these years just suddenly like spilt out of me, and I just couldn't stop crying and I couldn't stop like shaking and like feeling like everything was just spilling out of me. It was weird. I just felt like this rush of emotion just could easily release itself. I didn't know what to think of it. All I knew is that I didn't know what was going on and I was super, super upset. So we're driving to the hospital, and when we get there, they take me into an emergency room and hook me up to some more like ECG monitors. The doctor asked some questions, why it happened, if I'm taking any medication, what my diet is like, and if I'm going through any stress or anything like that. They said that the people that picked me up were worried that it was a heart attack, which it wasn't. The doctor said he doesn't think it was a heart attack due to my age and due to me not smoking or drinking, but because I've been through a lot of stress, he said it was a panic attack, but it was a pretty bad one because I blacked out, and that doesn't really normally happen. He said I should relax. They're gonna take some more heart monitors. They're gonna take some more readings from my heart, some more intense reading with better machines. They're gonna tell me in a few hours what's going on. Oh, and they also took blood, but that took ages because my arms are quite dark around the area where they normally take blood, and they were sticking the needle in and out of my arm like crazy. They finally managed to find a vein and took some blood, but then they came back and said it wasn't enough blood, so they had to take some more, and then we had to wait more and more time. Got there, I have no idea. I think it was like 11:30 by the time we got there, 11:30 midnight, and we waited for hours and hours and hours, just me in this bed, just lying there like completely freaking out and not knowing what's going on. And my wife was just sitting next to me, comforting me, like messaging my family and stuff, which was really nice. I really appreciate that, obviously. Once they come back with the ECG readings, they said there was something irregular with my heartbeat. He said that it was an enlarged valve in my heart, and he said that can usually be from birth. Like I could have had it since birth, but it could have been enlarged due to stress, which is something that he sees quite often and says it's quite common. And he asked me if I've been under a lot of stress or if I'm quite a stressful person and if I panic a lot, and that's true. Like I just worry about every tiny little thing in my life. It does make sense. Like I've been like that for years and years and years. And he said that it's probably due to stress and I really need to try and relax. So I took some time off work. I went to the doctor, kind of like a GP, like a doctor that you can just walk into. She was super lovely, gave me some medication, actually 2 types of medication. One was to calm me down, which I could take every day, twice a day. What I read online, it said it blocks some of the information in your brain, which may sound really bad and really like crazy, but it was actually really good because I could calm down and focus on stuff like normal day life instead of focusing on all these crazy thoughts that were going through my mind. The other medication was an emergency medication that I should take every time I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. I was written off sick for a couple of weeks and I stayed at home and I didn't leave the house because I felt like, I don't know, it was a weird feeling. Like I felt like people were looking at me and I felt like people were gonna, I don't know, come up to my house and like unlock the door. I was really like irrational thoughts, and I know they're irrational, but I can't explain it. I feel like people are there looking at me and wanting to break in the house and wanting to like smash the windows and stuff like that. Even when I closed my eyes, I would dream of these scenarios and situations. So I knew that wasn't right. There's a part of me that just couldn't stop feeling that way. So I kept on taking the medication, and a few times I had a couple of panic attacks, but they weren't as intense as the one where I blacked out. For example, I took the underground to go to the doctors, and there were people looking at me and I was like freaking out, and I got really lightheaded and couldn't really stand up anymore. So I had to sit down, and then I started feeling tingling in my fingers. So I took one of the emergency medication, and it really does calm me down. Like, it takes about 15 minutes, but it really helps to just take away all of that anxiety and all of that horrible feeling that you're feeling at the time. I kept on having them on and off, and I didn't really like to take any medication, let alone this medication that you can get addicted to, which is the emergency one. One side of me is being rational and saying like, you need to take the tablets if you're just about to have a panic attack. One side of me is like, I'm not really sure 100% when that is, and I don't want to be too late with taking the medication, but I should wait a little bit because this medication is going to make you like addicted, and you're going to want to take more and more and more. The medication that I take every single day, twice a day, makes me insanely tired and makes me so drowsy that I couldn't really work with it. So I'm going to see a therapist and a psychotherapist so I can get some more medication, because my GP can't prescribe those medication. It has to come from a therapist or a psychotherapist. I have been talking to family and friends about it, and they've really helped to try and set my mind straight, but it's just something I can't explain. And I wanted to make this video to explain to you, people that have already got anxiety and depression, to let them know that they're not alone, and also to explain to people that don't know anything about this. Anxiety, depression, and feeling down in general, just any of this stuff, or taking medication, it can get a little bit blurred and people don't understand it 100%. For example, people might look at this video and say, oh, he doesn't look too bad, you know, like he's getting through it and he doesn't look like he's super sad, or I'm not having a panic attack right now. So just because someone's got depression or anxiety or is taking medication doesn't mean that they're 100% all of the time feeling and are expressing that physically. But I'm gonna leave it at that, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm gonna see you as soon as possible. If you wanna talk about it, you can either PM me on Instagram or you can comment below, and I'm going to respond as soon as possible. I'm going to be on my laptop as much as possible anyway, so I can respond to you there. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.